The YouTube channel Game Maker's Toolkit is back with their second game, following on from the great Mind Over Magnet, which I enjoyed but have still yet to review for this channel. It's coming soon, but go by. Their new game is called Wordplay, and the skinny synopsis of this, for me, is what if Boggle was also slightly a roguelike? And the idea is that you have, starting off with 16 letters, chosen at random from your bag, the ability to create anything from a 4 to a 16-lettered word. And depending on how long and complicated the words are, the more points you'll score. You've got a certain amount of turns to be able to hit a certain score threshold to then unlock the next round, and you'll need to get through a certain period of rounds depending on the difficulty that you're playing to reach the end. Now, not only do you have no time limits for this, which is really great because you can sit and pore over every single move that you want, but you'll also have lots of different types of letters and additional skills that you can use at the same time. So for example, some letter tiles can be upgraded, and they can then become like a bonus triple score if they're in the third letter or the first letter, or if you've got unique letters across all of the word, they'll then score a bonus or something like that. It could be that you get gifts, and some of those will be an ing tile or a th tile, for example, so then you can squeeze even more letters into your word. It could be that instead of upgrades, you get modifiers, and these are things that might add an additional tile to the board, so you can go up to 20 letters if you do a several side by side. Or it could be that there's a multiplier for the amount of times you use the letter O, or it could be that vowels are now scoring 1.5 times their score. These modifiers can be sold, but they're usually ones that you'll choose to pick to try and then beef up your score, because over the course of round after round after round, the threshold gets higher and higher and higher, and you're going to have to go beyond just scoring good words and using your modifiers and your upgrades and any gifts that you get from those really powerful letter tiles to try and scrape it over the line, particularly when you start getting into the more hardcore difficulties, because there's over 150 styles of these modifiers and upgrades and gifts, and I'll kind of umbrella them as perks that you can muck about with, and you'll need to make sure that you do, because quite often you'll hit special rounds, and these will be things like vowels don't score, or you must put together a 6 or 7 letter word minimum, or it could be that the top tile row is locked so that you can't use them, meaning that you've now, if you've put all of your like vowels up there or your T's and S's, you're thinking, no, what do I do? And you're going to have to try and rummage yourself around and get yourself over the line. When the game throws these types of things in, especially on the harder difficulties, for me, I don't see anything wrong with going to things like scrabblewordfinder.com, particularly on the hardcore levels, because it's just as much about getting the biggest word as it is using your modifiers and your upgrades strategically to make sure that you then choose the right letters, because sometimes a 10-letter word is not going to score nearly as well as a well-structured, upgraded and modified 6-letter word, for example. And this is where the fun of wordplay comes in. The game at the moment is just purely single player, with a constant kind of coming back to different difficulties. A daily challenge mode and a time attack mode will be added at a later point. And I'll also call out the fact that this game allows you to mod with custom dictionaries. So if you're worried about not having your colloquial language in, or like really obvious stuff, then you can mod this game, enable it to have your custom words inputted into. Lastly, there's quite a few accessibility features here too, including dyslexic fonts and high contrast modes. So that can be quite handy, and you can also turn on spelling suggestions as well if you need to be a bit more guardrailed in particularly, and I find this, Americanisms versus English spelling. When's a Z, when's an S, for example, because sometimes my brain gets scrambled. I very much enjoyed Wordplay. I do recommend it for anyone that likes linguistic and word-based puzzle games. Just be aware you've got to use all of the tricks in the trade to make sure you get to the end on the harder difficulties. You can't rely on your spelling alone. Wordplay is out now.